is that I could give every information. So if you have any questions, Shelby, feel free to ask everybody here so you guys know the drill. And today, since I'm going live now, what do you guys want to talk about, by the way? Before the rap battles show up. What do you guys want to talk about? I have so many questions. Feel free to ask. But like I said, you can even check out my YouTube. Chances are I have like a place, getting started, start here, blah, blah, blah. And even my workshops are like $10. And it's so funny, $10 or $15 depending. And my boyfriend's like, you know that people sell these workshops for like $200, right? Minimum. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Listen, when I was like in my early 20s, I started working on, hold on, I gotta take some water. Yes, most of my videos are about depression, fear, and anxiety. All three. I talk about depression, fear, and anxiety. I talk about how to deal with it. I have so many, Annalise, so many. Tarot. I think we'll answer a couple of questions first, Cece, before that. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so the reason my boyfriend was like, I don't understand why you're not charging as much. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. When I was in my 20s and I started on this journey, so I had my daughter when I was 24 and I was sick. I was dying. Like the doctor said that I may not make it, whatever. And mentally I was not good. Everything was just like in my early 20s, right? You always want more tarot. So when this happened, the only person that I could find that was free, I was broke in my 20s. Broke. Okay? Nothing. Single mom. I had help like from my mom and my sister, but no financial help whatsoever. So I still had to work and I couldn't get, the government didn't want to help me. And I remember crying at the office. I remember sitting in the office with this lady. I was so angry. I'm 24 years old. Okay. I have like she was like 6 months old, my daughter. I'm holding my 6-month-old daughter. Okay. Now remember, when my daughter was 1, I got a kidney transplant. So my kidneys, when she was 6 months old, are at like 10%. So I'm sitting in the office with a 6-month-old, single, sitting there crying and saying, I'm a single mom with a baby. I have 10% kidney function. I don't know if I'm going to live. My mom's getting tested and you guys are giving money to people who just don't want to work, like welfare to whatever. And to me, you're like, no, and you're you don't even want to help me. I was crying. I'm like, I don't understand. There are people that are screwing. I personally know people that are screwing you and taking your money. I was so upset. And I went home, and that was one of my lowest points. And I went home, and I remember being really upset. And I went online, and I was like, I can't afford a therapist. I can't afford a psychologist. I can't afford a coach. I can't afford anything right now. I can't even afford to live properly. So I was like, what do I do? And I went online, and I found Teal Swan. And she was the only person that was both mental health and spirituality. And I had already been reading books prior to that, like The Shadow Effect, You Can Heal Your Life, and all this stuff. But there wasn't I didn't have really mental health support. So I started watching Teal every week. She came out with a new video. And I couldn't believe that she was offering all these services, everything for free. And she had extra. She's like, you want to meet me one-on-one? I will. But this is my services. And this is all for free. And from that day, I was like, I am going to do this. I'm going to do videos for free. I'm going to share all my information for free. If you want to see me one-on-one, fine. You can book with me. But everything that I know, I don't hold back. And I don't get people who do that. In all honesty, like, well, I can't share this with you because it's only private to that. I'm like, why? Information is free. Now, my time of sitting there, and let's say I was a hairdresser for a long time, actually. I started at 16. I had to buy scissors, color, brushes, this. I spent money. You came and see me. I had to leave. Yeah, okay. Pay me. I get that. But information, and I'm going live like this. Anyway, the whole point is you'll get all my information for free. Anybody who's new. I know for those who are usually on my live or whatever, but thank you, MZ April. And by the way, I changed my perception about myself. Thank you, Shelby. I know there's a lot of people that don't. And by the way, Shelby, the one thing that bothers me also is I know meditation coaches. And listen, when I started meditating, it was in 2012. Or no, 2011. Remember I talked about it? 2011. It was November of 2011. Right around that, I started because it was 2011. I remember 11/11, and we did a meditation for 11/11. So I was meditating the year of 2011. And I remember wanting to learn more about meditation. And there was a workshop that was 2 hours or 3 hours for $600. What I do now on my lives? $600. Do you know you can buy my workshop for $10 online for how to meditate? And there is going to be intermediate and advanced. Like, I don't understand. I'm like, what are you teaching for $600? How to look within? Like, I don't understand. Maybe it's just not my journey. Oh my God, I'm being a judgy McJudgerson. I better self-reflect on this. But I'm judging people. Like, it's okay. It's okay to want to make money. Money is energy. It's okay. It's okay to want to make money. But it's mental health. Do you know what I mean? It's like we all need it. We need it. It's like water. No. You can't have water, and it's essential for us. I don't understand why there's so much. What advice would you give on how to handle triggers? Ooh, that's a great one. Okay, so Shelby, I actually didn't even do it yet. It's one of my most complicated workshops. But I'll tell you now. I'll give you the rundown now. But the workshop, Judgy McJudgerson's, I think true healers aren't greedy. Yeah, I used to say that to my friend. Like 10 years ago, we used to say that exact sentence. People who truly, like, their first goal is to help are not about money. It's okay to want money in life. But to me, it'll come. Like, all that stuff is going to come. But it's not going to be if I become a multi-billionaire one day, who knows, right? It will not be because people are paying me billions. It'll be because maybe like I got to deal with like Amazon or Netflix, or like it'll be a big company that to them that's a joke. Like $1 million is a joke kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It'll have nothing to do with the people, like the people that actually need whatever, okay? Anyone's interested? Oh, thank you, Wilo. But I think maybe today we can leave that out with what happened yesterday. No, scam. Okay, so let me tell you guys, we'll talk about triggers because Mercury retrograde, and I got a weird sensation in my hand. Okay, so triggers are going to happen now. If you understand how Mercury retrograde is, that it seems like Mercury is going backwards if you're looking at the way it is. Anyway, long story, the moon affects us. Stars affect us. We come from the stars. We are going to get affected. Hi, Mischievous. How are you? Hey, user 58. Brian, have you been? All right. So I'm going to tell you first where we know that triggers are like kind of PTSD, right? It's like you have big triggers and little triggers, like PTSD. So something happened in your past or whatever, and in the present moment, you now get like that fight or flight, and it can happen like crazy fast. So let's say, you know how people who don't really play sports, if you throw a ball at someone who's not just going to catch that ball, they're like, oh, or if you turn around, it comes at you really fast. That's a trigger. Triggers are instantaneous. They just pop in, okay? But there's a way to recognize triggers and reduce the intensity of the trigger, okay? Agree. When getting divorced, practically homeless is when I need it. Yes. So, PS and I'm not going to say that properly. Energy. I'll just call you energy, okay? Psi energy. Okay. I totally agree. So, back to the triggers. So this is a weird thing. So the people who are new on my live, this is a weird thing that I've said, is that the way I found out about triggers is through this insane channeling, which is like a message I got. And the reason is I had a trigger that I could not pass. Like I couldn't figure it out. And this was about 2 years ago. I couldn't figure out what the hell the trigger was. I was like, where's this coming from? I don't understand. And a lot of times, you'll notice that people who get triggered and stuff like that hate memories. You ever go like, fuck, why do we have memories? Like, I don't want to remember that. I don't want to remember that. Keep that in mind while I'm talking, okay? The memories part. So if you're sitting there, okay, and something arises in you and you have no idea, will this live be on YouTube? No, this live I'm not going to upload, but what I'm telling you now is on YouTube. I put a whole there's 2 videos of how to deal with triggers and where do triggers come from. So for those of you who are regular on my live, I'm going to give you a little reminder because sometimes it's good to have a reminder. Picture our memories. And the reason I got this information, because when I did a meditation and I got all the information about triggers and I was like, oh my God, I freaked out. I was so excited about this because now I know where they come from. So picture your mind like a filing cabinet. So those of you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? So our mind is a filing cabinet, right? If something happens to you, I don't know, you played baseball with, your mom, your dad when you were a kid. And you played baseball and all of a sudden you have this memory. It's like a little memory, a small little memory. And you're like, oh, happiness. And you remember feeling really good. It was a sunny day. And then you have these other memories of bad ones, right? These kind of like memories that just pop in and that are not too good. And you have all these memories and you put them all in the filing cabinet, mismatched inside. So do you ever notice that when you're driving or doing something calm and the song comes on and all of a sudden you remember when you were 6 years old and you were like running in the park and you're like, what the hell? Or you remember a feeling of like your ex that hurt you and did something, like you get a random, did you guys ever do that? And this happens to me so many times. I'll be sitting there and I'll think, just last week, a guy that I knew for like 2 months when I was maybe 15, 16. And I had a couple of like encounters with him at school. All of a sudden pops in my head out of nowhere, full blown memory of what he was wearing. And I was like, I wonder whatever happened to that guy. I haven't thought about him in like 30 years. Like, what the hell is going on? I was like, this is crazy. So we get these random thoughts. Now, if you understand that every thought and memory you have holds an emotion. So every memory, it's not about the memory. We think, oh yeah, why am I thinking of that guy? Instead of saying, why am I thinking of that? You say, what emotion did I have then? And that is usually, any negative energy to that is usually the start of a trigger. Now, let me explain more in detail. Imagine when you get older, you start organizing your filing cabinet, right? And I give this example I have in my workshops. I've done so many things about this. This is really, and I go way more in detail on my workshop with like the whole images and everything. So now I'm trying to explain it on a live going like, but imagine like, the filing cabinets when you have these files. So imagine you have a little filing cabinet. You open up this big thing and you have all these little filing cabinets and files and everything. And picture a whole bunch of the filing cabinets. Like you're in an office, you have this massive, you open up the big cabinet and you have all these little cabinets inside. The big cabinet being your mind and the little cabinet being emotions. So every single cabinet. Now, if you guys have seen Bruce Almighty with, what's his name? How did I forget his name? Jim Carrey. When he opens up the filing cabinet and he goes flying, just keep that in mind. So if you were abandoned when you were a kid, maybe once, like maybe your mom didn't talk to you, or your dad, like, oh yeah, you're going to be like that? Go in your room. I don't want to talk to you. And they ignored you. When you ignore someone or walk away from someone, there is a sense of abandonment as a child. Don't talk to me. So then you may get abandonment. You may feel alone, isolated, things like that. And if this happened often, over and over, that filing cabinet that's marked abandoned is full. And then you have another filing cabinet. Let's call it jealousy. And that's not something you felt too much, let's say. Give you an example. That's not something you felt. Maybe, your mom, they never made you feel jealous. Or maybe there is. Maybe there's a lot of files of jealousy. Maybe there's another filing cabinet. Okay, so imagine you have all these good, positive filing cabinets with all these good, positive memories. So maybe you have a lot of memories of gratitude. Maybe you have a lot of memories. So I'll give you, for example, for me, I have a lot of memories of we didn't have money growing up and we didn't eat. We'd go a whole day with eating like 2 pieces of bread, maybe a carrot stick and stuff like that. So I have a lot of memories of feeling neglected, feeling like I didn't matter. My needs, my basic needs didn't matter. I also have a very big filing cabinet of abandonment. I'll give an example. A friend of mine, 13 years old, said, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Like my best friend. And I was like, what? Why? And she's like, well, my new friend showed up at school and I'm going to hang out with her. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And then one time my mom was very busy and she was working like 2 jobs and going to school. Never saw her. My dad used to be pretty toxic in his, like he would not talk to me if he was angry at me for 2-3 days. Sometimes a month he would go, just ignoring me in the same house. So there's a lot of abandonment. My filing cabinet of abandonment is huge. That's a trigger. So now, in the present moment, if my boyfriend, for example, is around me, and he knows this, my boyfriend knows that when we have a disagreement, he is not allowed to just walk away and say, I can't do this. I don't want to talk to you. I get like... Because what's happening is like in Bruce Almighty, when he opens the filing cabinet, it smacks me in the face. I have so many files of being abandoned that if I get abandoned now, there is a massive response. But I have a very little filing cabinet of jealousy. I never really, not a lot of people made me jealous, right? So I have this little filing, like I only have like a few files. Like I had a guy who was a cheater, like a guy that was cheating on me, but I was like, ugh, and I broke up with him. I was like, okay, like obviously you're going around there. So yeah, like I wasn't, oh my God, he's cheating. Cause I never had unfaithful and I never had that much. So my filing cabinet was small. So if somebody is like, I notice that they're doing, I'm like, you're not worth my time. Like, I don't get that trigger. Now, depends on you. What is your trigger? That's what you have to understand. And we could have many because you didn't heal that wound. So that's the thing, Emily. It has nothing to do with healing the wound. So I've done insane amounts of like massive meditations, transcendental. I went in, I did past life regression, and I do this with my clients. I do inner child parenting and all that stuff. There is always going to be a scar. Okay? There's always going to be a scar. So I have 7 surgeries now. Okay? I've had 7 surgeries. I got it done. 6 surgeries were all medical surgeries that were out of sickness. And even though I have recovered from my surgery, I have pretty big scars all over my stomach. Like I look. So, and some of my organs are misplaced. So it's not about like, I healed it. That's not what this life is like. I'm healed. I'll never get affected again. Just because I healed something, I went through it and I did it, it doesn't mean it never happens again. Remember that about a trigger. So it's never about completely healing a trigger. It is impossible to let go of memories unless you go and do some weird brain thing and they remove a part of your brain that is the hippocampus for the memory and it's stored inside, like all that. No. Okay. So we can't completely get rid of our memories. So we will, but it is possible your trigger of like, oh my God, can go, oh, I'm triggered. Do you know how great that is? So in my past relationships, if somebody would just like, let's say I had a boyfriend who would go, I don't want to talk to you more and walk away from me and be like, I can't do this. I would be like, don't you dare walk away from me. I was so aggressive. It's like, you want to walk away? Then you're done. We're done. Oh God, did I fucking threaten that? We're done. You want to fine, walk away. Don't ever come back. Like so triggered. I was like, relax. The guy's just taking an hour because he's upset. And I'd be like, oh yeah, fine. We're done. Oh yeah, escalate it to level 100. Okay. That was a trigger for me because instead of being like, holy shit, I'm triggered because when I was 5 years old, when I was 6 years old, when I was 10 and this, my mom did this, my dad did that. I have so many, like that cabinet opened up and I'm like, So what the key to doing, okay, and there's different ways that you can do. So if you're getting triggered, right? When I told my partner my triggers, it doesn't get respected. So that's the thing. So there's different things about when you get triggered and other people don't respect your triggers in a way is that you can't do that. I know it's crazy, but it's not really crazy. Because if you get triggered and snap at someone and they're the recipient of your trigger, it's way too extreme for them. So they're not really going to respect it because it's not about them. It's about you. So this is a pet peeve that I have, okay? I have a pet peeve. Now, compassion, highest form of love. Okay? So remember that. So please be patient with me. If I snap, like okay, take that back. Let's try this again. Like you can do that. But you can't just go, well, that's my trigger. I'm still going to yell at you because I'm triggered from that. It's not fair to the other person, right? I'm sure many problems don't give themselves credit for not escalating trigger. Yeah, so exactly. I agree. So the thing is with the triggers of how to reduce them, I'll get that just in a second. I'll tell you how for yourself. that you can practice this at home. You can do this tonight even, okay? Especially Mercury retrograde. You really want to because now, think about it, full moons. Full moon, your body is like a little more, it's like the tides rise, and in your body, the water kind of gets unbalanced. So Mercury and the planets that are affected, we're going to get kind of affected by anything. We're affected by the sun. The sun comes out, you could get a sunburn. Things happen with planets and with things that we do get affected by that. But in order to not let it control us, recognize that what is your trigger. So you're going to write down, what is it do I really freaking blow up on? What is it? What is it? So I found out, for me, it was abandonment. It was, what was it? There was a couple of them. What did I say before? I forgot what I said. But let's just go with the abandoned one. If somebody says I don't like what you're wearing, or you don't look good. I've been very criticized when I was young about how I looked and stuff like that. So I was so insecure about myself that if somebody says something, I'm like, that's not nice. I can't believe, oh, you know what? I can't, I get so affected by, that was a trigger for me. I'm going to focus on the abandonment because it's a common trigger for a lot of people, right? So this is what I did. This is what you can do with your friend or your partner. You ask your partner, understand that my trigger is abandonment, or my trigger is whatever. That filing cabinet is packed with memories, freaking memories, crazy, of me getting abandoned. So if you're going to walk away, and I asked my partner to do this, I asked my boyfriend to do this, said, oh yes, misunderstood. Oh, I get triggered when I'm misunderstood. I still do. I'll tell you guys what I do now when I get misunderstood, or if I feel abandoned. Instead, I used to blow up, and I'll tell you what I do. So you can ask your partner and say, if you're going to walk away from me, tell me when you're going to come back. So don't just say, okay, I'm done, I can't do this. Say, let's talk in a half an hour. Give me an hour. Give me 2 hours. So you're not abandoning me. I don't feel abandoned. You're telling me a time. In the meantime, while you're practicing that part, I have to own my part in being triggered. And I'm going to take my trigger and realize. So the first thing you got to do is when you're triggered, okay, you right away, because it's going to happen. The first thing you do is you're going to say to yourself, I feel powerless. I feel powerless. It is the number one thing that happens in triggers, because you feel like you have no control, no power. It's like your emotions are stronger than you. So you just say, I feel powerless. I feel like I have no control. And you don't have to say it out loud, because sometimes people don't like to be vulnerable. So they don't like to say that. So you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. Oh my God, I feel powerless. I feel like I have no control. And you could say, I need 10 minutes. And if you say to yourself, you keep saying, I need 10 minutes. Now, this is the key for any trigger that you're feeling, okay? The biggest key that you're going to do. Find out what your trigger is. Sit with yourself. And maybe that's the meditation we'll do today. And I have a lot of those on my YouTube. Excuse me. You're going to reparent yourself. Okay? Right away when you're triggered. Okay? As soon, I'll give you the example of, I'll tell you 2 examples. The abandonment. So let's say when my partner walks away, says, I can't do it, I want to walk away. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're going to walk away, then we're done, or whatever. Oh, who then? Thank you, me 20. So I sit down. You sit down, close your eyes, and you're going to picture that memory. Remember how I said at the beginning of this, I said triggers come from memories. What is the first memory that you have of yourself when you... Who's that? Oh, sorry. Somebody walked in. What is the first memory that you have of yourself feeling abandoned. Now, for me, for example, my father was an alcoholic, okay? And he used to choose alcohol over coming to pick us up. So for hours, I would be sitting in the front with my little backpack. I was like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, all these times. And I would have my little backpack with my clothes for the next day because I was going to go stay at my dad's. And my mom calls my dad and he's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And my sister and I are waiting at the front door and we're leaning on the wall, kind of sitting on the floor, waiting 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And my mom's like, I don't think he's going to come. And then all of a sudden we get a call, like super drunk. I'm getting a ride home. I'm going home. And now we didn't see him. So this created abandonment because I already had a little bit of abandonment. This created abandonment because I was like, wow, my dad's choosing alcohol over seeing us. Now, thank you, Me20. That's so beautiful. So I thought about it, it's like, and that the more that happened, other things would happen. And I always put it in the filing cabinet of abandonment, all these things. So reparenting is you're going to close your eyes. And I've done this many times. I did it with a, if you want, if you don't feel comfortable doing it on your own, you can go see a hypnotherapist. But this is something that you can do on your own. And I have to tell you, it's very profound when you do it by yourself. Okay. So you sit there, you can do this tonight, wrap yourself in your blanket, make sure you're comfortable, close your eyes, imagine yourself when you were first, for example, abandoned or triggered in that moment. And then at that moment, imagine you right now, who you are, right? Who you are. So I imagine the Tanya, the adult Tanya, sitting beside my little 8, 9-year-old backpack Tanya, sitting there and saying, I'm here with you. I'm here with you. Every time I do that, like I'd look, okay, I don't know if you guys, oh, it's really hard to see, but my whole shivers on my, every time I even think about it, just sitting there, me, myself, being there with me. I was there with me. And now, remember what I said at the beginning? Memories create triggers. You create a new memory where you were there. So you were not alone. You weren't abandoned because the adult you was sitting beside the little you. And it's so profound and it's so deep, and you sit there and you just do these inner parenting. And I have so many, by the way, on my YouTube channel. I have a lot of guided meditations to do this and to go back and reparent and picture yourself as a child and see yourself and hug yourself, and you're hugging yourself. And do you know, the more you practice this, the more that trigger and that filing cabinet that has all these memories that your mom did this to you and your dad did this to you and this, all those memories, now your adult you is in those memories. So now when you think about, wait, I wasn't alone. I wasn't abandoned because I was there with me, hugging me. And I was like, dude, you're good. We're good now. Look at what I have now. You're going to have this, you're going to have a daughter. And I say it to myself now. I'm like, Tanya, I know you're little right now, but you're going to have a daughter and you're not going to abandon her, and you're going to put her first, and you guys are going to have a great time together, and she's going to be your little buddy, and you're going to have a whole great life. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot of like obstacles, but I'm okay. I'm okay. And you say this now and you're there so you become your best friend and your person. I have to tell you, the more you practice this, your triggers, that are the biggest powerful triggers that happen right now. So you're snapping, thank you, Angel Star. So you're snapping at your husband or your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or whatever, or your friends, or you're like, why am I triggered like this? So instead, oh my God, I love that. Thank you. So I felt that in my heart. Thank you. So imagine that. Imagine doing that to yourself over and over and over. And anytime you get triggered, just create a new memory. And by the way, when you're sitting down in the car and you get these random memories that pop up, right? Random memories. You're sitting there and you're like, why am I thinking of the friend I had when I was like 10? Where does she come from? And then you know what? A lot of us go, oh, maybe I'm going to see her. You know when you think of someone and then you see them like, oh my God, I was just thinking of you. And then you see them, whatever. What is the emotion that you had when you remembered that? And that emotion oftentimes is something that you need to kind of go and put love into. So all these memories that you're like, oh, yeah, but you don't understand. Like, and I get a lot of clients that tell me stories that, and I'm not going to share. I know a lot of my clients are on my live, but you know, you don't understand. I went through this and I went through that and it's unexplainable. And I'm like, it is always, it's especially at children, it is not okay. There's so many bad things that happen to these kids that none of us deserve a lot of the stuff that has happened to us. And there's nothing we can do to change it. That's the problem. It's like we go, oh, yeah, but if my life was like that, then I would be a different person right now. If my life was better, if I had loving parents, then maybe I'd be a really nice person right now. And if I had that, and we keep doing that. But the key now is we can go back and kind of change it. We can't undo it, but we can create a new memory. And this is why I say reprogram your mind and create a new memory where you were there in all those moments that you're like, it's okay, I'm here for you. No matter what, I'm here, I'm protecting you, I'm there for you. What if they are going back to that memory and thinking of you and they needed to heal something? What if they are going back to that memory and thinking of you and they needed to heal something? What do you mean, Mary? I remember once as a child talking with myself as an adult. Okay, so for those who are new, that happened to me. Not necessarily I was talking to myself as an adult, but there's a moment in time. So this is a very emotionally story, so I'm not going to go too much in detail. But there was a couple of times in my life that I tried to unalive myself twice. Okay, there was a moment that I was lying in bed and I was thinking of ways to end my life. I was like, what can I do? Okay, so what's the plan now? Because there's nobody that loves me. Like, they love me. Yeah, they'll be sad, but it'll be like for like a month. And then they'll probably have a way better life because I'm so much of a bother. Like, everybody is just, they're so bothered by me that they may be sad at first, but I think their life will actually be better if I'm not. Like, these were the thoughts in my teenage brain. And I was lying in bed. And then I realized what I was thinking. And I started hyperventilating and crying. And I was like, oh my God. I was freaking out. And at this point, okay, I don't know if it was right before I tried to do it or after. I don't remember the exact moment. All I remember, I had a bedroom and I had painted on a wall this big dragon. I remember around me, and I was lying and I was holding a pillow and I'm crying, like, and just like tears, crying. I think it was like in between 16 and 18 years old. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was looking at places. Do I just do this now? Like, I can't. And all of a sudden, I go, like stopped. And I went, and I remember going, like gone. It was like an instant stop in tears. Like no more tear. I couldn't even like, and all of a sudden I just went like, what's happening? And all of a sudden I felt this warmth around me, and I was like immense love, like love just wrapping around me of love. And I was like, oh my God. And I fell asleep. And it is a memory that was so strong in my mind. I couldn't even believe it. And moving forward, I was like, I wonder if it was an angel. Like, I know my family was very religious, but I was like, what was that? Like, it was insane. This was unexplainable. I was like, oh my God, maybe it was an angel. Maybe it was an angel. All I kept thinking, 19, 20, 21, 22, 30, 31, 40, like, I just kept thinking, oh my God, it's an angel. And then when I was, how old was I? 31 or 32. Okay. I'm sitting in the office with a hypnotherapist. Okay. This woman, I love her. I owe so much to her. And she was a girl that gave me a lot of free therapy and stuff like that. But I told her, I'm like, I have a lot of stuff that's in my subconscious hidden. And I would like to do hypnotherapy and just bring some old shit to the surface, right? Because I feel there's a lot still buried, right? And we all have it still. All of us. Even the highest psychologist of like whatever. Oprah's psychologist. Tony Robbins' psychologist. Even has, just to give you an example, everybody, as long as you're human on earth, you have shit, okay? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, let's do this hypnotherapy. And I do a hypnotherapy and I was like, oh my God, this is really great. Wow, it worked. And she was telling me, she's like, do the inner child. It was so amazing. And she's like, Tanya, do this at home tonight. Because I could see that a lot of memories were coming up today. Try this more and more. That night, how crazy is this? I sit on my bed and close my eyes. And I did the reparenting that I just told you guys about. And the first image that came to my mind was hugging myself when I was a teenager and I wanted to die. And I said, I'm going to go hug myself. And I hugged myself. And I felt myself crying, like crying. And I was like, you're going to be okay. You're going to have a daughter. And oh my God, you're going to have a boyfriend who's really nice. You're going to have this cat who's obsessed with you. No, that's a total lie. I did not say that because Miko only came a few years ago. But I did have JJ. So I said, you're going to have a dog who's like so cute and he's obsessed with you. That's the dog who's obsessed with you. He can't go anywhere without you. You're going to have this great life. You're going to heal things with your mom. You know how like you don't get along with your mom right now? You and your mom are going to be like best friends. Like don't. And I was like hugging myself and I'm sitting and I'm like 31 years old and I'm crying. And I'm like, I love you, Tanya. I love you. And I was saying this to myself. And I was like, I love you. Don't do it. You're going to live. I'm here for you. You're going to live. You have a life. You're not going to die today. Isn't that insane? So, did I go back in time? Did I travel through time and hugged myself? Because when I was 17, 18, I remember a hug. So I'm like, wait a minute. Did I like travel through quantum space-time reality and freaking hug myself? And I felt it when I was 17. And I'm like, oh, it's an angel. Meanwhile, it was me at 31 hugging myself. But in my late 20s. And at 31, a whole thing just happened. Right? So I want you guys to know that at any age, you can do your reparenting. And I want you to remember. I freaking love you too, Mischievous. I want you to remember that there is a version of you that is much older that is reparenting you now. Oh my God, that's beautiful. I've never seen that. Thank you. That's the slowest moments, because I'm not going to go in detail with you right now. Okay? Can you keep that open and just close the back door? Okay, so I fixed it. How did the live go? Is it still bugging? That sucks. How about now? I turned on my Wi-Fi. Anybody? Oh, Mischievous. I hope it's a good cry, guys. Helloing, still freezing. So far, no lagging. It's better now. Okay. Okay, is it better now? It's not freezing? Because I'm talking about like deep emotional issues, and I'm like, and then I'm like frozen. Yes, okay, good. So like I said before, if you didn't hear it 3-4 times already, since it was freezing and repeating itself like you guys said, there's an older version of you that is there for you now. It's not like trying to make you change. Remember, you can't change what's happening. You don't go in your past to try to change what happened. You know that you can't change your past. When you go into your past, you just tell yourself, hey, I'm here for you. So James, I know you were joking around, but there's an older version of you that is coming to you now and saying, dude, don't worry about it. You're going to be good. It's okay. Thank you for this. Well, thank you, Me20. I appreciate you. The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Ooh, I like that book. Oh my God, I'm getting, I don't think I'm going to accept this one though. I'm getting, a duet, a rap battle. Mark. Okay, another Mark. So I'm getting a rap battle, but I did not accept that rap battle because his picture was like drinking alcohol. And I'm like, might kill the vibe of the live right now. So blessed I came across you right now when I started my healing journey. Well, I'm grateful for you, Young Money. Thank you for saying that. No rap battles. Unless it's Howie Mandel. Did you guys see Howie Mandel? He's randomly going on people's lives and joining their lives. And there was a guy yesterday who had no idea who Howie Mandel was. Is there anybody here who doesn't know Howie Mandel? He had no idea. Unless it's Howie. He had no idea who Howie Mandel was. Howie told him, he's like, hey, go on Netflix. Go check out this. And then the guy's like, oh shit, that's you. And I was like, oh my God, it was the funniest live. It was really funny. And he just randomly goes, I think he's trying to promote his show. That's why I was like, thanks, Tanya. I feel I can breathe now. That's, okay, a Dennis. That makes me feel good to hear that. It's like, that's what I wanted. It's like, must have been a Gen Z-wee. What's a Gen Z-wee? What is the new generation called?